Now then, I had a choice. I could either compare here or compare at Glastonbury. But there's a much better quality of mud here, personally speaking. Actually, I did the comparing at Glastonbury a couple of years ago. It's a nightmare because the whole of the audience is on marijuana. And they don't start laughing till they get home. Not yet, you're too early adapted. Well, not really very good, I'm sorry, no. I think we could do a bit better than that. That was more like a Rotherham wave, that, I think I might just put my hands up, I don't know really, shall we bother? We've got a roadie backstage who used to be George Michael's right-hand man. And yeah. Him and Gary Glitter, what a pair. Do you want to be in my gang, my gang, my gang? Well, not right now, Gary. No, I'm sorry. This road is great. He was telling us a couple of weeks ago he went on that march to legalise cannabis in London. And he said, well, it started off as a march and it sort of ended up as a wander. Is that us done? I'll tell you about him a bit later on. Would you be familiar with an LP called Addy Amos? No? Yes. Okay, 3. That's good. Addy Amos is perhaps the biggest selling classical record of all time, which gives me some idea of the crowd that we have out there at the moment. You've had the cultural part, this is the agricultural stuff now. You know where the Mexican wave comes from, don't you? Mexican restaurants. Because you're sitting there and suddenly you go, hey, where's the bog? It's too late. But the weather report, it may well hold off. No lightning. You better pray there's no lightning. Actually, did you know, in the Guinness Book of Records, a man in Ohio in America has been struck by lightning 15 times and has survived? Did you know that? You couldn't give a toss, could you really? No. Every night, apparently every night he gives thanks to God that he's still alive. Who does he think's throwing the damn things in the first place? Shall I find the lottery numbers out for you? Okay, I haven't got them here. I'll try and find the lottery numbers out for you. And, because basically, I do the lottery. It's Camelot that I don't like. Well, they're a pompous lot, aren't they, really? Thank you. And do you know this? Get this. If you win one of the big ones, like 10, 15 million pounds, Camelot will send someone round to your house to tell you how to spend it. Oh, will you? If I won 15 million pounds, I don't want some ex-social worker coming round to my house telling me how to spend it. I want Michelle Pfeiffer coming round to my house telling me how to spend it. I want my bank manager to come round, descale my U-bend with his tongue. That's who I want. Can you imagine going into your bank with 15 million pounds? Their attitude would change a bit, wouldn't it? Oh, hello. You wouldn't have to go through that stupid rope obstacle course again, do you? Can I have my piece of cheese now, please? You're a good crowd, you're a good crowd. How are we doing? I think we're almost ready. People are only doing sort of 1 or 2 songs because there's so many people to come on. Obviously, we'd be here till 4 o'clock in the morning, which is... Oh, it's all right for you. Hey, I've got my Win Carnies to go home to. Pardon? Oh, right, lottery numbers. Get your tickets out. 7, 9, 11, 23, 30, 43. Up on the tenner. The bonus number is 35. It would be nice if we had a winner tonight, because then we could persuade you to donate to charity. Okay. Truth is an age-related thing, and as I'm getting nearer 40, well, thank you. I find that I'm lying more. I better get back up to the middle. This is. Oh, you want me to stay? Oh, thank you. Oh, hi. Terrific. Because you can. There's a place backstage in the information. They're doing these astrology things. You know, I'm not into astrology in no way whatsoever. I think it's a pain in the neck, if I'm absolutely honest. And wherever you go, parties and gatherings, someone's always coming up going, hello, what sign are you? Humpback Bridge. Slippery when wet. That's a good one. I'm lucky, I was born in March, so I can always say Pisces. Oh, no, I think you'll find that's pronounced Pisces. No, it's Pisces, as in off. Oh. You're not a sun photographer, are you? No, you can't be. I haven't got any tits, have I, really? There. You hear the sun's going up market. I'm sorry. Never mind. And because I do sun reader jokes, as you know, and they complain. They'd write in if they could. We got any sun readers here? Or is the question too difficult? Okay. I'm into all those. I love all those dangerous sports. Those are great. Hang gliding. That's good, isn't it? Throwing yourself off Beachy Head attached to a frame tent. You've got to have some marbles loose for that, haven't you? I was in Spain last year and I tried that water skiing. It's a nonsense. It's like a rich man's enema. Ice cold water shooting up your bum, 45 miles an hour. Oh yes. Oh, here's 10,000 pesetas. Take me round the bay again. You know, I might be empty this time. And bungee jumping. What? That's train spotters having an hour off, isn't it? I had a pop at them on television. God, the stick I got, you know. And don't knock it if you haven't tried it. And I had to go down to Bristol and sort them out. And they throw themselves off Clifton Suspension Bridge, you see. And I went down. They're very enthusiastic. They're very, it's a very exact science, Jasper. We get it down to the last millimetre, you know. Would you like your head to go into the water? Not unless I'm kneeling on the bloody bang, pal. That's the only time it's going in. No, there they were, tossing themselves off. And I said, pardon? One of the bungee jumpers was blind, a blind bungee jumper. You need some bottle to do that, don't you? It was amazing listening to a Labrador scream at 200 feet, you know. At least the bloke knew when he was getting near the water because the lead went slack, you know. But I always remember when my first child was being born. This is a true story. I was in the maternity unit helping my missus out, you know. And I was a bit worried because, like, it gets a bit messy, childbirth. And I said to the midwife, I said, excuse me, I'm not very good with blood. And she said, oh, that's a shame. What do you want to do? And I said, well, when it gets a bit messy, can I leave? She said, that's not a problem. So it got very messy, and I said to the midwife, I'm going to leave now, that's fine. She said, just come back, we'll tell you when it's all over. So it was about an hour, and I got back, and they gave me the baby, and it was lovely, and I thought, blimey, this is easy. We'll have a few more of these. So my second child was being born, and I was helping my missus out again, and it got to that sort of messy time, and I said to the midwife, excuse me, I always leave now. And she said, oh, why is that? I said, I'm not very good with blood. And she said, well, that's a pity because you're staying. I said, pardon? She said, you're staying. She said, we're very short-staffed. And if your wife's going to go through the misery and pain of childbirth, the least you can do is to stay and hold her hand. Great. I'll take her out. She's almost ready. Yeah. So anyway, I was holding my wife, and I wasn't looking. I wasn't looking because it was all going on behind me, and of course it was getting very noisy, squelchy. But it's a bit like a road accident. You've got to have a look, haven't you, really? Got to just... And I fainted. I fainted in the maternity unit, and the nurses were stepping over me. And I woke up just in time to see the afterbirth coming out. And I thought, what an ugly basket. And I heard the midwife say, he looks just like his dad. Also, I hate flying. I'm a terrible flyer. I have an abject fear of flying, or to give it its correct medical term, a fear of smacking into the ground. The flying doesn't bother me. I'm that bloke you're seeing there trying to get up the gates, the steps of the plane with a bag over his head, you know, and one of those things they get horses into starting gates with. And air hostesses aren't the most helpful of people, you know. I mean, I'm sitting there petrified, and the first thing she tells me is that I'm on a non-stop flight. Excuse me, I wouldn't mind stopping somewhere like an airport. And then she comes and tells me to put my seat back forward. If I could put my seat back forward, I would be in porno movies. And they are economical with the truth, airlines. Things like near miss. No, it's a near hit. A collision is a near miss. Boom! Look, they nearly missed. Frightening. This is wonderful, isn't it? You look as if you've been strangled by bats, you know. Where are you from? You're from Birmingham? What do you do there?
Conservatoire, music college.
Oh, smart asses. Oh, right. From Birmingham. Any Birmingham City supporters? No, all five can't be here. I'm sorry, no, that's too much of a coincidence. We've got a wonderful owner. Birmingham City are owned by a guy called David Sullivan. And he owns Sunday Sport newspaper and the Ann Summers chain of sex shops. And now he owns Birmingham City. You've got to see next season's kit. I've never seen crotchless shorts before. I've never... Supporting them's a nightmare. Nice tackle, Brian! What you do? You have to buy the programme in a brown paper envelope. It's getting ridiculous. And I was at the last match of the season. And at half-time, I turned around and I said to the bloke standing next to me, "Oi! About 2 months ago, I bought a cordless telephone. And now I can't find it. I could find the old one. It was tied to the wall. I bought a video recorder that works exclusively by remote control, and I lost the remote control. It means I've paid £475 to have a digital clock in my lounge. Because I'm so used to it, all my friends want to know now, am I going to purchase the new Philips compact cassette system or the new Sony minidisc system? Because whichever one I choose will be obsolete by Christmas. You are looking at a Betamax, man. I still have the original portable video recorder. It is the size of Anglesey. I never learned. 6 months ago, I bought some electronic gates for my drive. I treated myself to some electronic gates to my drive. 6 months ago. I still cannot remember that when the gates open out, I'm driving in. And now my next door neighbour's had a pacemaker fitted, so every time I open the gate, he runs round the block at 90 miles an hour. Give me a C! Give me an L! Give me an I! Give me an N! Give me a T! Give me an O! Give me an N! What does that spell? Yeah! He came to Birmingham about 4 weeks ago with that GH Summit. And we did a concert for him. We had the all-girl group, All Saints. And they performed for him. which he was delighted about. You should have seen who was first on the bill. Isn't Cliff amazing? Every time I see him, he gets younger and younger. By the millennium, he'll be a fetus. I wonder what he gives up for Lent. Tennis, probably. Yeah, you can't get your... I mean, how many millions would see Cliff? And, like, Radio 1 won't play his records. What's that about? I tell you, there's some snotty people around. DJs, AM, FM. AM stands for absolute moron. I can't tell you what FM stands for, I'll tell you. We've got the fireworks. Yep. And they're proper fireworks, none of those measly things you buy in the shops these days. Because I remember when fireworks were fireworks. When you could buy a mighty atom and you had to let it off underground. Those were bangers in them days. I remember when fireworks had proper instructions. Slip into small boy's hood and leg it.